Hello, my name is Fox and you're watching Den of Fools. Let's jump right in. In week 19 of 2024, we had 133 tournaments with a total of 2,083 players and 6,677 games played. We have more tournaments this week, however, we have a fair few less games played. I would imagine this is because Mother's Day was on Sunday, so we have a less of the larger tournaments. Having said that, this week the Space Marines are back at the top with 23 wins and 60 top 3 placings. Their weighted placing is 16.7, which is a lot better than the 45.5 they got last week. It seems the Space Marines do well when we have a lot of tournaments, which isn't too surprising considering their popularity. Tau and their new codex come next, with 11 wins, 24 top 3s and a weight placing of 9.1. This is a good improvement on the 25 they got last week, which suggests that their codex is looking good on the initial results. The Grey Knights are close behind with 10 wins and more top 3s with 26. Their weighted placing is 8.8, which is the third best overall. They're the only faction in blue who manage more large tournament wins than smaller ones, showing how well they're doing at the moment. The Necrons are still performing well with 9 wins, 39 top 3s and a weighted placing of 17.5. Many predicted they would still be strong despite the nerfs, which seems to be the case. The Thousand Suns come next with 9 wins and 20 top 3s, with a weighted placing of 8.9, a great result for them. The World Eaters come next, also getting 9 wins with a weighted placing of 8.6, the second best overall. They have a very good week. Nearly all the results come from the smaller tournaments, including all of their wins. The Orcs have one less win with 8, but they do have the second most top 3s with 41. Their weighted placing is 21.9, which is a fair bit higher than the 10.4 they got last time, but this could simply be due to their increased popularity. Chaos Space Marines have another good week with 7 wins, 25 top 3s and a weight placing of 14. Much like the World Eaters, the vast majority of their results come from the smaller tournaments. Death Guard also gets 7 wins with 19 top 3s and a weight placing of 12.6, an improvement on last time. Aldari, the last faction in blue, also getting 7 wins with 17 top 3s and a weighted placing of 15.6. With a lot of smaller tournaments, we see the majority of factions in blue, with only 4 in green this week. Imperial Knights top the group with 5 wins, 12 top 3s and a weighted placing of 12. The weighted placing is twice as good as last time, despite only getting 1 more win. The Tyranids get 4 wins with a weighted placing of 25.8, with Guard also getting 4 wins and a weighted placing of 29.5. The Gene Stealer Cults are the last faction in green, also getting 4 wins with only 5 top 3s, but the best weighted placing this week with 8.3. The Sisters top the yellow group with 3 wins. I am surprised they're not higher considering they topped the green group last time. The Custodians are still struggling with 3 wins, 11 top 3s and a weighted placing of 22.3. Chaos Knights, Votan and Drukhari are again in yellow. They each get 2 wins. Chaos Demons and Eggmaker are at the bottom of the pile, with both of them getting a single win. 22 factions manage at least 1 top 10 placing, but the Space Marines get the most top 10s with 215. The Orcs remain in second with 103 top 10 placings, with Necrons in third on 95 top 10 placings. Unsurprisingly, the Space Marines are the most played faction with 18.48% of all players taking them. The Orcs have become the second most popular on 8.4%. Necrons have dropped to third on 7.49%. As I suggested in the last stat show, the Orcs have managed to take second place from the Necrons. It takes our resident stats guru and Ultramarine fanboy Fearless Fox many hours to collect all the data. It would be great if you could show your appreciation by liking and sharing the video. It really helps us with the God algorithm of YouTube. We have grouped the win rates by colour, with the key at the bottom of the screen. With the second week of results, we have a lot more factions within the Goldilocks zone, with only 1 faction above. The Grey Knights have another very good week with a win rate of 57.4%, which is 2 weeks above the zone for them. They were performing well before the changes, but are seemingly coming into their own after a few more buffs. The Thousand Suns are the first faction in the Goldilocks zone, with a win rate of 54.7%, which is better than the 50.6% they got last week. They have returned to their pre-change win rate, which is impressive considering 2 of their key enhancements got a points increase. The Necrons also see a return to form with a win rate of 54.4%. This is a decent increase on the 50.8% they got last time, and is close to the roughly 55% they were on before the balance update. It'll be interesting to see if they can continue to do well. The Orcs are close behind on 53.1%, which is an improvement for them, which suggests that players are working out the best options in their codex. Speaking of new codexes, the Tau start off with a respectable win rate of 50.8%. As with the Orcs, it may take a few weeks for players to work out the best lists and options. Chaos Knights are close behind with a win rate of 50.6%, which makes them getting only 2 wins a bit surprising. Aldari get a win rate of 50.1%, which is similar to last time. Imperial Knights are the last faction in green, with a win rate of 50%. The World Eaters top the Elder Group with a win rate of 49.8%, with Chaos Space Marines close behind on 49.5%. We know the Chaos Space Marine Codex will soon be upon us. The Space Marines come next with 47.8%, which is impressive for the faction as a whole, considering how many players there are. We will look at the individual chapters later on in the video. The Sisters get a win rate of 47.7%, which is a big drop off from the chart-topping 57.8% they got last time. I'm not sure why there is such a big drop. It'll be confirmed in the coming weeks which one becomes closer to the consistent win rate. The Admet get a similar win rate to last time with 46.7%, followed by Custodies on 46.3%. They have managed to get back into the Goldilocks zone, but they are still way below their previous form. The Tyranids are on 45.9%, with the Death Guard on 45.4%, and the Gene Stealers on 45.3%, despite getting the best weighted placing this week. There are some familiar factions below the Goldilocks zone, with Chaos Demons being the only real outlier. This time they get a win rate of 4.9%, which is a lot lower than the 55.3% they got last week. With the first 2 weeks of data since the changes, the Grey Knights are the only faction above the zone with a win rate of 56.6%. They're performing very well, and I must say I'm a little surprised they're at the very top so far. The Sisters come next with a win rate of 53.3%, thanks to the first week of data. The Necrons are on 52.5%, followed by the Thousand Sons on 52.3%. The Orcs are on a win rate of 51.6%, and I wouldn't be surprised if they climb up the rankings as players adapt to their new codex. Chaos Demons are on 50.7%, with the Drukhari on 50.2%. Like Sisters, these factions are in the green group thanks to their good score in the first week. The vast majority of factions are in yellow, with only 3 factions below the Goldilocks zone. I'm sure this will change considerably as we get more data, and more codexes released with Chaos Space Marines on the way, and potentially another codex being announced at the preview show on the 18th of May. This week we have 4 chapters in blue who don't have a lot of players. Of the first founding chapters, the Iron Hands do the best with a win rate of 68.4%. The single White Scars player manages a win rate of 66.7%. With far more players this week, the second most popular chapter, the Blood Angels, are the real winners, with a win rate of 55.9%. The Space Wolves are the first chapter in the Goldilocks zone, with a win rate of 52.8%, which is a decent decrease on the 57.6% they got last time. The third most popular chapter, the Black Templars, just getting green, with a win rate of 50.3%. The Death Watch are the first chapter in yellow with 48%, followed by Fearless's favourite Blue Boys, the Ultramarines, on 44.7%. The Salamanders get a win rate of 42.7%, alongside the unknown chapters, with the most popular chapter, the Dark Angels, on 42.6%. The Raven Guard win a third of their games, with the Imperial Fists on a win rate of 30%. It is clear that the Divergent chapters are performing much better than the Codex chapters, as expected, with the Blood Angels and Space Wolves performing particularly well. The Iron Hands are technically in first with 55.8%, but as they only have 18 players, the Space Wolves take the early lead with 55.5%. The Blood Angels are the first chapter within the Goldilocks zone, with 53.6%, followed by the Black Templars on 51.8%. The Death Watch are the last of only 3 chapters in the zone, with a win rate of 48.4%. The Salamanders are on 44.8%, with the Ultramarines on 44.4%. The Dark Angels are on 41.2%, with the Imperial Fists on 22.9%. This will all be changing relatively soon when the Codex releases, so we will just look at the running total win rate. The Word Bearers are currently top on 57.7%, followed by the Night Lords on 54.8%. The Iron Warriors have a win rate of 51%, with the Black Legion on 42.1%. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe, check out one of the videos on screen, and consider using our affiliate links in the description. Thank you for watching.